Today, Elon Musk under attack by the left. He gets the Kavanaugh treatment from them. Will monkeypox be the next pandemic? And doctors are planning a womb transplant so that men can have babies. We've got all that and more coming up, and it all starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. Happy Friday. I am Sarah Gonzalez. We are joined by, he's been on the show before, but never in person. So we're really excited. Drew Hernandez in studio. He is, of course, the host of Frontlines. You can find that on Turning Point USA, TPUSA Live. And we're happy that you're here, Drew.
Thank you guys for having me. It's going to be fun.
I'm just glad that there's another white passing Hispanic.
Oh,
do you
absolutely.
ever get that?
Yes.
I
am all the above. I am a white
Hispanic.
supremacist.
I
am a neo-Nazi. I somehow transported from Nazi Germany in the 1930s, 1940s to here in 2022.
It's great. That's great.
But I'm brown, so you know.
Well, you, me, and George Zimmerman, the white Hispanics, I guess. I'm also joined by Alex Stein, BlazeTV contributor and host of Conspiracy Castle. And, of course, BlazeTV's own Sydney Watson is back with us in studio. We got a full table today. I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there before we get into the stories. The air conditioning broke in our studio, so it's like ridiculously hot in here, which is why we are glad to be women and wearing what we're wearing, and wearing what we're wearing, and the guys are here in jackets, and we're just going to see how that turns out for them.
It's female privilege.
Well, yeah, finally. Usually it's the other way around.
Did you see the viral tweet of Taylor Lorenz, what she puts her thermostat at, though?
Yes.
Yes.
Like
90. So
yeah, that's disgusting.
proof lizard people are real, and she's one of them. That's all we need.
That's disgusting. Okay, so I want to get into the headlines of the day. So Elon Musk has been accused of sexual misconduct. This is, of course, they found this out because SpaceX, the aerospace firm founded by Elon, paid a flight attendant $250,000 to settle a sexual misconduct claim against Elon Musk. This is from Business Insider. So I want to get into kind of the specifics of this particular allegation, because I find it to be, I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it or believe it, but it does sound very Elon because it's so weird. So it says the attendant worked as a member of the cabin crew on a contract basis for SpaceX's corporate jet fleet. She accused Musk of exposing his erect penis to her, rubbing her leg without consent, and offering to buy her a horse in exchange for, I'm sorry, that's not funny, in exchange for an erotic massage. This is according to interviews and documents. And look, I'm just saying, if they made this up, that would be a very smart way of making it up, throwing in there like, yeah, he offered to buy me a horse. I don't know what that was about. But Elon Musk said that he emailed back when asked for comment. He said he needed more time to respond and said there is, quote, a lot more to this story. He said, if I were inclined to engage in sexual harassment, this is unlikely to be the first time in my entire 30-year career that it comes to light, and that this was a politically motivated hit piece. It does seem awfully coincidental that as he starts leaning more and more towards, well, I would say conservatives, I'm not at all calling him red-pilled, but certainly on the free speech issue, he seems to be quite conservative. Very coincidental that as he leans more and more conservative, all of a sudden he is accused of all of these things, and we're just supposed to believe him and write him off, I guess?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Elon Musk is definitely someone that's not supposed to be doing what they're doing right now. Obviously, he's kind of like got some weird views with the Neuralink and all that stuff and everything, the transhumanism, and that's why I've been telling people it's just kind of like wait and see like what he really does believe.
I've said. Yeah.
But like I said, post kind of Me Too, I mean, with the whole Amber Turd, Johnny Depp thing, people are starting to realize a lot of women have been lying about these accusations. But like I said, there's two sides to every single story. And it's interesting that he requested to be able to comment his side of the story, but they say, no, we're going to run with this immediately. I'm not defending Elon.
Right.
I'm just saying, let's just hear both sides of the story. But it is interesting that they're, I mean, I don't know. I guess there was a settled case and everything.
Right.
I mean, the whole horse thing and his erect penis, it's just weird.
Well, I have to say,
Drew Hernandez, erect penises are weird.
yeah.
That's what I heard. I don't know. Wait. I want to get your thoughts on this. I knew this was going to be a fun show. But I want to throw in what Elon actually tweeted about this. He said, the attacks against me should be viewed through a political lens. This is their standard, despicable playbook, but nothing will deter me from fighting for a good future and your right to free speech. And then finally, we get to use Elongate as a scandal name. It's kind of perfect because he had just said, if there's ever a scandal about me, I want to call it Elongate. Cute. That's very cute. Go ahead.
First of all, believe all women, so he's guilty. Second of all, he dated Amber Heard, so obviously he's weird. But this is the real issue with it, though.
She's very attractive, though. You have to admit,
is. I would probably date her.
But she's a hell bitch, but she's like legitimately good.
They always are.
Yeah, I can
Seriously.
I can just wash the sheets.
Isn't it the crazy hot matrix? She's like
any woman that poops in your bed is definitely a keeper.
I've had to date a lot of women that do that. That's neither here nor there.
Do you need to talk about it, Alex? Is this what the show will be?
My
Alex just doesn't
psychiatrist.
invest much in the sheets.
I'm the only person that's been kicked off by my psychiatrist. He just couldn't handle me anymore. But on a serious note, they're going to this is the top story and all these news cycles. But once again, we don't hear anything about Hunter Biden. We don't hear anything about Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express. It's like all the real sexual assault. And I'm not saying this isn't real, but it's funny how they pick and choose what sexual assault stuff they're going to bring to the light and talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's interesting that this is coming to light after he said that he's going to be voting Republican.
Yeah.
I mean, and he sort of... It's interesting because I was reading sort of commentary about this on the internet, and you have people that go, well, yeah, of course now anything that's levied against him, everyone can just go, well, look, he said that this was going to happen because he said he was going to be voting Republican. So I guess they're right in that regard, but this is also, like he rightly said, a play that we see all the time. I mean, think back to Kavanaugh, what they did to him. Who else has been come under fire for that? I mean, Trump did, obviously. That's a no-brainer. I mean, they tried this with Joe Biden, that quickly got memory hold, so...
Yeah,
I think what's interesting too, a good point to make is they're used to doing stuff like this where they target their political opponents. They'll either severely shadow ban them, deplatform them, or censor them, and then they'll roll out their propaganda and their lies to take down their political opponents. And then the individual that's been targeted can't speak for themselves and can't reach the masses to tell them the truth. But they can't do this with Elon because the guy's about to own Twitter officially. And he'll forever be able to speak for himself unless something crazy happens and they just take him down. But this is part of, I think, the takedown that they're trying to execute on Elon Musk.
Well, even if it doesn't stick, though, the problem is that once an accusation like that is levied against you, you are stigmatized forever. Even if it comes out that it's untrue, there's still a portion of people who either don't know that it's untrue or, people go, remember that time that. And so it's really sad. And the other thing that occurs to me, why I hate this as a play that people use, is because it delegitimizes actual women who've actually been through these things, and men too, because this is not just a female issue, but it really irritates me. It makes me cross.
I mean,
I don't like it.
Well, I just keep going back to the horse thing. Like, I feel like that's a pretty fair trade.
For a horse?
I mean,
That's a horse,
touch my
man.
pee-pee for a horse that gives me orgasms.
I don't know. I think I might take that deal. I like
Texas.
horses.
That's kind of just standard operating procedure,
Did you guys see that this week, though? That whole, like, alpha male thing on Twitter that was saying that when you ride horses, it gives women orgasms? I wanted to die.
But that's fake. You didn't see that?
Did you not see that?
Yeah, they said that it's not conservative to ride horses because it gives a woman sexual pleasure. But that was obviously a joke.
I don't think it was, though. I think these people legitimately believe these things. There's, like, a whole subsect of men that are like, women have to do this and this, otherwise blah. And it's like, have you met a woman? Have you ever interacted one? And not everyone is your ex-girlfriend. Like, can we not?
Well, I want to say there's a regular women and then there's horse women. There's two different sets.
Equestrian ladies are insane.
True.
This is true.
Drew,
the ladies who love the horses,
like,
I have
what
questions.
the hell have I gotten myself into?
This is a serious news show.
Alex knows every single one of his ex-girlfriends is an equestrian girl.
I've dated a lot of horsewomen. Taylor Swift's
know.
a horsewoman too. I want to get that on the record. Yeah, she is. And neither here nor there. What I'm saying is there's two types of women. She wasn't a horsewoman because if she was, she would have taken that deal. Plain and simple.
Well, okay. So I do want to. Maybe this is too controversial. I don't know. But if you are a woman and you believe that you have been wronged by way of sexual harassment, and you make a deal with a company to receive money in exchange for, I assume,
Silence.
for you to be quiet. I just don't feel like that's right for you. I mean, if you're taking the hush money, you probably should just stay quiet. If it's important enough on principle to bring to the table later on, then don't take the money.
Well, part of the deal is her not to speak about it.
Well, I know. Otherwise, why pay the money? So that's why I'm saying, like, it just drives me nuts that, like, women just want to have it both ways. And again, I think that goes to your point, Sydney, that it just delegitimizes the women who actually have this happen to them, and it actually did traumatize them or whatever, happened to them. And then you have women who are like, yeah, I'm going to take your money, and then I'm going to go tell people anyway. Or tell them through, because I know this one was like, there was a friend that was also interviewed that like knew about it.
Of course.
And so, yeah, it's always like the little loophole, but I don't know, that just bothers me. Is it just me?
Yeah, I think I'm going to say this is a nuanced thing, and I think it's more complicated than a lot of us make it out to be, because you have to remember, like, let's say that a woman was actually raped and then was pressured into taking money and didn't know what else to do and had no other options. I can see situations where I get why both things happen, and they get to a point where they go, I have to talk about this in order to protect other women from somebody who's clearly a predator. But some situations, yeah, it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. But I do think it's nuanced, and it is a case-by-case basis. I don't want to tar it with the same brush.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is nuanced because it goes from, what is it, hitting on somebody, and then when does it cross the line? I guess with an employee, you shouldn't be doing it at all. But, who gets to determine that line, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's clear, though, at the end of the day, to go to Sydney's point, whether it's like a legitimate claim or not, the people bringing it to light don't give a damn about women either way.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's 100% true. Because if it's a legit claim, they're not doing it because they want to help this woman. They're doing it because they want to take down Elon Musk, period. And they'll use her as a sacrificial lamb to do it.
Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We will be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Omega XL. So if you are one of millions of Americans, you just live in constant pain. It doesn't have to be that way. What you might not realize is that the underlying cause of most people's pain, the everyday pain, the arthritis, the aches, your neck pain, your back pain, whatever the case may be, it's inflammation that is causing that. And if you don't defeat the inflammation, it could cause permanent damage. Omega XL is backed by 35 years of clinical research, and it actually attacks that inflammation that is causing your pain. So it's not going to be like when you get like Icy Hot or one of those topical creams that you rub on your shoulder, if that's the problem, and you're like, oh my God, that feels so good, for 10 minutes, and then it's gone, and then you're in pain again. Don't do that, all right? Omega XL is going to neutralize that inflammation that causes those painful, stiff joints and muscles. It is an essential fatty acid combination from the waters of New Zealand, and you gentlemen out there might be thinking, it's natural, that means it doesn't work. Well, you'd be wrong. It does work, and I have to tell you, it's worth it to get you out of pain. So let's get you started. Order Omega XL right now. You can get a second bottle for free. Visit omegaxl.com/news. That is omegaxl.com/news. President Biden's support among Hispanics has taken a beating in the last 12 months to less than half of his approval numbers last year, according to a new poll. This was the poll that was taken in May of 2021, found Biden's approval rating among Hispanics at 55%. And this was after he had gotten 59% of the Hispanic vote, they say, in the 2020 election. But the poll released just this week revealed that he had plunged to 26%. This is barely more than a quarter of Hispanics approve of Joe Biden. Biden is less popular among Hispanics than any other demographic, including age and gender. Drew, you are, as I said, you are my fellow Hispanic, white supremacist Hispanic, of course. Why would you say Hispanics are leaving Joe Biden in such a quick and strong way?
Multiple reasons. The Hispanic community, their main tenets are faith, family, and freedom. I'll pick apart the family issue right now. The Democrat Party hates the family. They've backed organizations like Black Lives Matter that are openly saying that we want to dismantle the nuclear family. These people want you to abort your babies inside the womb and outside the womb. So when you have a community that is sometimes, in some cases, and you know this, will put family over God in some cases, you don't touch that family. And when you tell the Hispanic community, we want to dismantle your family, we're coming after your family, we want to control your family, you best believe that these people are going to oppose you with every fiber in their being. That's just one aspect of what's taking place with the Democrat Party. But also take a look at the southern border. We've seen the Democrat Party exploit the Hispanics, the Latinos in these foreign countries in Latin America, where they came out and said, oh, Orange Man is gone, now it's your time to come into the country, we're going to let all of you in. We have seen millions of Latin Americans that have been, women as well, that have been sex trafficked, human smuggled, raped by cartels, the Latin community, the Hispanic community in the United States of America understands what happens when Democrats dog whistle like this. So when that happens, these communities get exploited. The children get abducted. These cartels are making millions of dollars off of these human beings, and they don't care. So we have a political party in the United States of America that's incentivizing this, that's encouraging this. So when you see the Hispanics in the United States that are sitting back watching this stuff, they're saying, no, these people don't care about us. We are not going to be done to what, we are not going to let the Democrat Party do what they've done to the black community to us. And a lot of Hispanics are coming out and saying that right now.
Yeah.
You know, Drew nailed it with that. And also, you know, the Mexican culture, like Drew said, you know, abortion is not a thing that Mexicans usually typically do. So,
well, I mean, Catholics are pretty heavily against abortion unless you're Nancy Pelosi or Joe Biden.
Exactly. So, you know, they just probably think it's laughable that these people not only, and even the people that are pro-choice, they still believe there should be a limit, but people in the federal government want to be able to abort a baby up into 9 months, up into the last trimester. So I think the, you know, Latin community is seeing how crazy these people are have become, and they realize, listen, they can't even support that because it just goes against their values so much.
I think too. I mean, Drew, you tell me what you think on this. If I'm being accurate, there is also a large part of the Hispanic community that is just not down with all of the trans wokeness. You know,
that's a forbidden conversation. That the far left doesn't want to have. They want to talk about racism. They want to talk about like homophobia. They want to talk about like transphobia. I'm just using their words.
Right.
The black community hates gays. Okay, like within themselves. The Hispanic community hates gays within themselves. Like, everybody knows this in these communities, but they don't want to talk about it. They just blame it on white people. All white people are the ones that hate gays. All white people are the ones that hate, like this, the communities really hate each other. Everybody knows this. Like, you go to Mexico right now and you ask them, do you like gay people? They'll be like,
I mean, it's
forbidden.
It is absolutely forbidden.
That's just the truth.
It is completely taboo. And by the way, don't like. He's saying, generally speaking, this is. For better or worse, this is true.
Drew's dropping truth bombs.
He is. I mean,
it's uncomfortable
but
that's why
to hear.
I call it like a forbidden conversation. These people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff.
There's always outliers, but that's just the way that traditionally, the way that Hispanic and Mexican culture has been. Sydney?
I have really nothing to add to this. I think that you guys have adequately summed it up.
Give us something, Sydney. Do you like tacos?
Drew's done it all.
Tacos, Sydney wants.
Listen. I am too white. I reflect the sun. I have nothing to add to this conversation. No, I think that you hit the nail on the head. I think the other part of this that, you know, is very obvious is that Joe Biden obviously cannot function, let alone string words into sentences or perform his role as president. It is horrifying to me that he is even running this country whatsoever, and I think that that's another factor in this. But I don't know, you know, enough Mexicans. I've never been to Mexico to be like, what do you all think?
Well, but we have to say this.
I have to go based on what you're saying.
You can call me anytime.
I know Jorge as well. He's my little Mexican
But we have
man.
to make this one point. Here in Texas, most Mexicans drive trucks, so they definitely don't like paying $6 a gallon for gas. You know, that's what
my
I'm
God.
saying. That's definitely, they don't like that. That's not racist. That's a fact.
That they drive trucks?
Yes,
I think
I'm
a
in
lot
the
of people
car
in
business.
Texas drive trucks.
Everybody drives trucks, of course, but I'm just telling you. The Mexican community loves a good F-150, F-250. They love trucks, and they don't like paying high gas prices.
Well, this makes
Nobody
sense
does.
why I often see them driving trucks. I get it now.
I think the
have an affinity for
goal
them.
of this program is now, this particular episode is just to offend as many
I know, this is the thing.
communities
This
as we
episode
can.
this one is off
this
the rails
point.
already. But.
All right, so let me switch to monkeypox. So the World Health Organization is convening an emergency meeting on monkeypox. This is after an outbreak explosion. There's 1,300 suspected cases and reported and 58 deaths that have now been reported. This is worldwide, not in this country. In the United States, 6 people are being monitored for possible infections after they sat near an infected traveler on a flight. And separately, another person is being investigated for a possible infection in New York City. I just thought I'd throw this out there. All of the investigations, they have noted that many of the recent cases were identified in men who have sex with men, even though the virus is not typically described as a sexually transmitted infection. Where I would really like to go with this particular topic is that this is a smallpox type virus. And look, Alex, you are host of the Conspiracy Castle. Mm-hmm. Bill Gates has spoken about the possibility of smallpox type virus being used as a bioterrorist weapon. He's floated the idea of smallpox simulations, saying it'll take probably about $1 billion a year for a pandemic task force at the WHO level, which is doing the surveillance and actually doing what I call germ games, where you practice and you say, okay, what if a bioterrorist brought smallpox to 10 airports? How would you respond to that? Newsweek, they came out with a fact check that said that, look, this is all misleading. He didn't ever really talk about this. He's not spoken about the spread of monkeypox specifically. He's just talking about smallpox, so don't worry, nothing to see here.
Well, I have to say, Event 201, a simulation of a pandemic, it actually lasted exactly 2 years. So it's just all coincidence. And we also have to say this. I was actually at the doctor this morning because I had monkeypox symptoms, and it found out I just have HIV. So it's not that big a deal. So
congratulations.
It's very treatable.
Get on PrEP.
Yeah. So, same thing as Charlie Sheen. And Magic Johnson.
You can't say that when I'm taking a drink
I'll
of
be
water.
fine. The doctor said I'll be fine. As long as I don't have monkeypox, I'm totally fine.
So it is interesting because I was reading that it was very hard for me to find because all of the recent articles from mainstream media outlets don't really explain that it is very hard to contract monkeypox virus. Like you have to be in contact with the nasty whatever it is that Alex had that he went to the doctor for.
I don't want to talk about it. I was at a bar. I've been drinking. I don't remember a lot of what happened that night, but let's move on.
But it's interesting because I had to dig really deep to be able to find that it was actually, in fact, not very easy to even transmit. And it's like, okay, after the last 2.5 years, I don't find it to be a coincidence that it's very easy to scare people into thinking that they're going to contract this horrible, fatal virus. But really, it's like, well, you're not going to get close to someone who has a bunch of like nasty pus-filled lesions and then like poke at them.
Well, I think the precedent has been set. The new normal has been set across the globe, not just America. I think post-2020 and the pandemic, the psychological engineering, the mass formation psychosis, I think really brought us to a new point in society psychologically where they can pretty much do whatever they want now because people have accepted tyranny in the name of safety and security because of a medical crisis, right? People were willing to throw away their freedoms, willing to stay home if the government told them to, not go to work, not do anything, just stay put, do what we tell you to do because it's for your safety and your security. I think post 9/11, Patriot Act, all that stuff kind of plays into that, but 2020 was like on steroids. And not just America accepted it, but the entire globe was willing to throw away and sacrifice freedoms for the name of safety and security. So what I'm saying is, I mean, I would probably change that headline to, did Alex Jones predict that Bill Gates would predict that a new virus would? Because, I mean, everybody knows this at this point, right? Everybody knows that Bill Gates has been talking about this, trying to keep us, like, who the hell made Bill Gates, like,
the arbiter
of the world?
I know, it's so wild.
Himself?
Well, yeah, because they did. You bring up a great point. They have him on to talk about all these pandemics and vaccines. He's a vaccine expert, and it's like, guys, he's not a doctor. Like, he's not the person you need to be talking to.
You know,
right
he is
now.
an abortion expert. His dad, William Gates Sr., started Planned Parenthood with Margaret Sanger.
You were actually the one who taught me that.
I'm just saying, so how is Bill Gates involved in every single political crisis? I mean, it can't be an accident.
I would just like to bring forth to this particular topic as well, just to add along to everything else that you guys have said. The United States is also conveniently buying millions of monkeypox vaccines, an additional 13 million doses of the monkeypox vaccine after one Massachusetts
I've already been
man
monkeypox
contracted.
vaccinated. It's not that
That's
bad.
great.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
great.
good. Yeah,
That's good
you get
for
a free sticker. It's great.
Are you joking?
No, of
You've
course.
literally been vaccinated?
Yes, I'm vaccinated for everything. I'm on my 5th booster. What are you talking about?
Sydney,
it's the only way to
take
be
him
safe.
serious.
I don't know.
Yes,
Sometimes I
it
can't
is.
tell.
It's
Sometimes
just-
he just says stuff.
You don't
and I'm
understand.
Like,
you don't
wait a minute.
understand. It's safe and effective, okay? And the monkeypox, I'm going to get ahead of it, okay?
Well, this explains the tail.
Yeah, I have an HIV vaccine, monkeypox vaccine. I'm on my 5th booster. Yeah, this is the only way to be. Trust the science, Sid.
Listen,
Trust the
Alex,
science.
I don't want things being stuck in me, okay? I don't want the monkeypox. I don't want to be near it. I don't
Get the
want
vaccine
I don't want
with
the
me.
vaccine.
Go, and it's behind Collin Creek Mall. It's a guy in his van.
I
It's
have
free.
no interest in growing hair on my arms or in any other place.
But
There's enough on my head.
Do you know what really bothers me about this is that this whole public-private partnership that like the government is now the one who is constantly buying up vaccines. Like, is that just going to be the thing now? The government is just going to buy all these vaccines, and gee, where's the conflict of interest there? What could possibly go wrong when it's just the government that's buying all these vaccines and there's no actual market for these anymore, and they can just produce them? You start the problem, you create the solution, and then the government will buy up millions and millions of doses from you. What a great deal! Sign me up, I guess, if I wanted to sign my soul to the devil.
You nailed it. Problem, reaction, solution.
Yeah, it's just disgusting. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Home Title Lock. So look, if you own a home, you pay every month, you pay your mortgage, you're building up that retirement nest egg. You do not want to become the victim of home title fraud. This happens when a cyber criminal can worm his way onto your home's title. He can take out a loan after loan against your home's equity. So then they can vanish, and you have to stand there and prove that you did not commit fraud. Don't let that happen to you, okay? You could be a victim of home title fraud. You wouldn't know it for months. No agency notifies you. There's no banking program that protects you. There's no identity theft program that protects you. You could really be left hanging out to dry, and all of your retirement nest egg could be gone. Don't let that happen, okay? Home Title Lock can help you protect your home's title. Go to HomeTitleLock.com, read all the testimonials, register your home address to see if you're already a victim, and Home Title Lock can help you manage the crisis. By the way, when you go there, tell them I sent you for 30 days for free. That is HomeTitleLock.com, HomeTitleLock.com. Disney has launched a new LGBTQ Pride Collection clothing line for children this week, including several rainbow-colored T-shirts. This was created, the Disney Pride Collection was created, I'm sure you guys are shocked to know this, by LGBTQIA plus 12AZ employees and allies at the Walt Disney Company, and is a reflection of their incredible contributions and place at the heart of the company. We stand in solidarity with our LGBTQIA plus 2A comma, quotation marks, semicolon community everywhere. And they promised to donate all of its domestic profits from the Pride Collection to organizations that, of course, support LGBTQ causes until the end of June, which is known as Pride Month. Just kill me.
I mean, you guys, there's that headline right there, a school board director to host queer youth event at sex shop for all ages. I mean, this is like out in the open. It's straight up out in the open. And I mean, even in that shop, they had all these sex toys and bringing little kids. It was ages 0 to 18 or something like that. I mean, Disney has obviously been interested in grooming children. That's nothing new. I think now it's just out in the open. But I mean, here we are with this community that is just openly aggressively defending the ability to groom your child. Like, they want your children. I don't know, I think Post Millennial put up a story the other day where it was like, I don't know how many groomers have been busted, LGBTQ groomers have been busted in 1 year. It's like, the number's insane.
Well,
it's disgusting at this point.
Yeah,
people
I don't know.
Need to protect their children from these people.
I don't know if this is the same thing that you're referring to. Okay, so 135, at least 135 teachers or teachers' aides have been charged with alleged sex crimes involving children just so far this year, and over 100 of the cases at hand involved students. So that's great. It was 105 men and 30 women. And 102 of the sex crimes involved students, 30 did not, but 13 cases fell into an unknown category. The pool of arrests includes 117 teachers, 7 substitute teachers, and 11 teachers' aides. That's why, look, we say this all the time on this program. They literally want your kids. They're not even trying to pretend that they don't. They're indoctrinating them, and they're rubbing it in your faces, and you are paying them in your tax money to do it.
Well, you know what actually makes me mad, though, about the Disney selling the rainbow stuff? It's like, I wouldn't even think that stuff is so bad, because I get it. They're trying to be inclusive. I'm saying from their perspective. But when it comes to Saudi Arabia, they're not going to put a rainbow flag. You know, when it comes to United Arab Emirates, they're not going to follow that same rules on their social media in these other countries. So they're just hypocrites. It's like, that can just show you they have no integrity whatsoever. So they act like they're trying to help kids. Really, they're just trying to indoctrinate kids with this, because they would not do this in a foreign country that doesn't accept it, like China.
Yeah.
Or Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I watched The Imitation Game the other night, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, I won't spoil it for you, but actually I will. The gentleman who broke the Enigma code was a gay man, and in the 1940s or 50s, I can't remember which, in the United Kingdom, he was chemically castrated for being gay. And I watched this film the other night and I thought, it is revolting to me that we lived in a period of time where that was the way that you dealt with people who had same-sex attraction. I freely admit that I feel that way. I think it's gross.
That seems extreme, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And especially because this man basically, you know, he saved 4 million lives, they estimate, and he ended the war. Fantastic human being, did a lot of great stuff, created computers. Fast forward to now, we've gone so far off the deep end of just, hey, let's not chemically castrate people, let's treat them as equals and you know, not basically vilify them for having an attraction to the same sex. We've gone off the deep end into, let's go after children, let's push this and shove this down people's throats and give them no other option. You can't opt out. There's no opt-out system in society anymore. You must conform to the Lgbtqia XYZ community. You must conform to all the narratives. Otherwise, you're a bigot, you're a sexist, you're all these horrible things. I don't understand how we've logically gone from, hey, let's not do what we did to Alan Turing, the guy that I mentioned before, to, yep, let's start going after children. It blows my mind, and I'm so beyond over it. I'm so sick of this, and to get me there, because I'm pretty moderate on a lot of things. I don't particularly care unless it affects me. I'm so sick of this that I just want it to stop. And what's interesting is that statistically, it's pushing people like me not towards homophobia necessarily, but it's pushing us towards being like, anytime someone says, oh, I'm gay or whatever, you're like, cool, enough, like enough of this. Kayla, I love you, I know that you're sitting in here, but I'm serious, like it just me. Sorry for the language in the
No, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of bowing down to a minority of the population because there's more of us than there are of them. And it's gotten to the point where this population of people are going after children, and they want to touch children, they want to groom children, and they aggressively fight for the right to literally be able to do that. They oppose anti-child grooming laws, and I think right now we're dealing with a community right now that needs to be told no. We haven't told this community no. And when you let a hyper-sexualized community like this in a society, I'm talking a societal, we're going into Sodom and Gomorrah, that is real, and we're starting to see it now. I mean, here we are right now where they want children, they want to have sex with kids, and we need to say no. We can't sit there and be like, oh, I'm so afraid of offending a gay person. No, it's gone way too far, because it's not the straight people that are going after the children right now on a societal level. I'm not saying there's no heterosexual pedophiles. What I'm saying is right now in 2022, we have a specific community that's trying to normalize child grooming and pedophilia, and we have to tell them, no, you're not going to do that. We can't be afraid of offending them because we're dealing with the innocence of the child right now.
Tell us how you really feel.
That's how I feel. I'm sick of it, dude. I'm sick of bowing down to a minority of people when there's more of us.
I like it.
I think, too, that the part that makes this so egregious is that it's not just the teachers, right? It's not just the outside people. It's like the woman, I assume the mother who we showed yesterday was a Libs of TikTok video, who, of course, they always film themselves, filming herself in the mirror. They're trying on, her son is trying on dresses and she's trying to talk to him about, well, why don't you want to wear dresses at school? Well, tell us about it, little Timmy. Well, don't you want to be the innermost you? And it's like, you are the one person who he should have the strongest bond with, who you should be able to tell him what is true and what is not true. You are there to protect him and guide him. And of course, dads are too. But I'm saying, like, you grew him and birthed him, and now you are completely leading him astray on purpose. I can't think of anything more evil than that. I just can't.
And to your point, too, you mentioned the social media. That's a lot of it, too. Like, there's a joke that, you know, having a trans kid is like having a vegan cat. It's the parent that decides that because, you know, the cat needs to eat meat. So these parents are literally doing it for clout on social media. They're transitioning their children. And it's similar to Leah Thomas, you know, competing against the men, ranked 457th to becoming the #1 ranked female. The problem with that is now all these younger kids are going to do it. So now we're going to have junior high kids and middle school kids doing this, or high school kids. So that's the problem, is these parents are influencing it for their own personal clout. And that is the real sickness, too. I mean, it's disgusting.
I think the last thing, too, to this conversation that often doesn't get a look in is that it's similar to anything. I mean, we all like to tar situations with the same brush. And like I said before about the sexual assault stuff, I think this is nuanced in the sense that I do think you have, obviously, your LGBTQIA XYZ community, but there's a lot of people who don't subscribe to that who happen to be gay. They're like, yeah, I'm gay.
Yeah, that's true.
The end.
Every gay person I know wants nothing to do
because
with
it's insane.
the
And they know it's insane. And so it's like this portion it's this portion of a tiny community that's doing all of this and basically calling these shots, and they are antagonizing the general population and their allies into hating them. And what I think is really sad is that one of my oldest friends, we met at university. He's gay. I love him to pieces, and he's one of the people that I didn't even know that he was gay until probably like a year into us being friends, because it just never came up. And I think to myself, it's people like him who are now subject to legitimate homophobia because people are so tired of this, and it makes me sad because I'm like, it didn't have to be this way, and yet we've been pushed because, like I said, you can't opt out. There's no opting out, and there's no getting away from it, and they just keep going along, pushing the parameters, and everyone's just getting sick of it.
Yeah. So I feel like Drew, I feel like you maybe can join my personal push for what I said on the show yesterday. I said, I think I've reached the point where any parent that is doing this to their child, that is pushing their young child into this, I don't want it to just be a crime. I want it to be death penalty.
You want a wood chipper, though.
I want it to be death penalty.
You want the wood chipper enthusiast to be chipped.
I'm done with it. That is the worst thing that you can do to your child.
So it's a lot more widespread than you would even realize.
Yes,
child molesters.
It's child abuse.
If you touch a child, whether you're, and here's my thing too, is like if this was like just a full-blown like heterosexual community, right, that was trying to normalize child grooming and pedophilia, I would be just as aggressive.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But we are at a point right now where we've allowed a community in this country to go out of control. And like what Sydney is saying, it's like literally like a minority within a minority. So it's like, why do we bow down to that? Why are we so afraid of telling these people no?
Yeah, but not all.
Screw them, dude. Who cares what they say?
They're top of the victim hierarchy.
Let them feel all pissed off. We're talking about children. Just to go to your point, it's like, dude, you should not, and you shouldn't even entertain the idea of trying to groom a child. Yep. That's where we should be right now.
They don't view it as grooming, though. That's the problem. Sorry to interrupt you, Alex. They don't view it as grooming. You got to remember that they feel justified and validated.
That's my
in what
point.
They're doing.
It's depravity.
But
you are depraved.
That's my death penalty.
You are literally depraved. You can't even see that you want to groom a child.
Do you know who
John
Money is?
That is so seriously wrong right now.
Do you know who John Money is?
That's even worse. I don't know who that is.
So this is a guy who used to work for Johns Hopkins until he died, and basically he's the godfather of the whole gender. He started the first gender clinic at Johns Hopkins in 1965. He founded all of this, and the way he did that was by basically carrying out an experiment on two twin boys, one whom he convinced the parents to raise as a girl and the other as obviously a little boy, and both of them committed suicide. It was a horrible thing. Look into him. He's very interesting. I highly recommend looking into him and what Johns Hopkins has done. I just made a video about it if you want to watch it on my channel. But it's really interesting because if you think about it, this man justified pedophilia, and yet the left and these gender psychos look to him as the person who founded all of their ideologies, and they're like, oh yes. And so basically, in the most simple terms, they are upholding the value systems and the views of a legitimate pedophile, like an actual legitimate pedophile, or a person at least who thought pedophilia was fine. Alex, go.
No, Alex, don't go. I got to take a break, and then Alex, go. We'll be right back.
I was just going to say, Prince Andrew, is the Queen's son.
Well, we're talking about all of this transgender stuff. A doctor in India is planning to transplant a womb into a biological man, a transgender woman, they say, possibly enabling this man to carry children. Who knew when you guys were watching, what was the Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, when you were watching Junior, who knew that might actually be real life, they said. So now men can be mothers.
I'm going to volunteer.
If this is successful. Yeah, I got it out for you.
Because I said the
Yes, I got it out for you.
Wow.
bad Sydney is bad.
That's from our editors. That was a passive aggressive, like, here you go. We keep having to edit your show.
I try not to swear on your show, but sometimes it just slips out because we talk about these depraved.
It doesn't open.
What's the point of it then?
It's called a prop because we work in a TV studio.
Okay, Alex, say what you were going to say before
I'm just going to say, I'm going to volunteer. I want to get a womb. I would love to be a mother. I don't know why you guys are demonizing this. This doesn't seem like that bad of a thing.
From where will you give birth?
My beehole, probably. That's the biggest hole, I'm guessing. That's probably that's the hole I would choose if I get to choose.
That will link then to your uterus.
I mean, maybe. I
How
don't know.
might you breastfeed?
I actually breastfeed
It's called
now.
breastfeeding.
Yeah, I
Excuse me, it's
breastfeed
called
now.
breastfeeding.
I don't know why you guys are so.
Don't be transphobic.
What
Do you
is
breast- I
this?
hear you breastfeed your cats, right? That's the thing. You hold one
And
in.
myself. I drink it for the protein
I'm
purposes.
very impressed that you can get your face down there.
We got a
Well,
shortage.
I don't. I have a machine, and there's like Drew just said, we have a shortage right now. So anything, I go and I give it out on the street. I go and I hang out at schools, and I give it to the children that need it. I
There
mean,
you go, Sarah. If you have any issues, you can have Alex's pus milk. That's good. This is. I'm proud of you.
well, I don't have monkeypox. That's the pus is just HIV.
I know.
I clarified that earlier in the show. You don't remember that, so.
I just want to go. This is going downhill quick. I just want to point out that this is the woman. Sorry, the man. This all gets confusing, and I need a flow chart. The man obviously could not conceive naturally because it's not connected to the fallopian tubes. So
Because
in
there are no
theory,
fallopian tubes.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. So
man,
in theory, they could become pregnant through IVF, and then I guess they would just have a cesarean section.
Okay, this is the stupid. I'm not going to swear again, control room people.
Well, you already have. I mean, here you already.
This
have
is
swear
the
jar.
stupidest
You're
that I've
still not
ever
allowed to
heard.
spell it out.
Oh, this is the stupidest stuff.
There.
I hate this so much because of a couple of things. Firstly, I watched this stupid thing the other day that was like, men theoretically could get pregnant. We can make them have ectopic pregnancies, which is basically where the baby grows outside the womb. It does happen.
Yeah.
They die
Yes,
usually.
it's
very
it's
dangerous.
fatal.
And so I was thinking to myself, so let me get this straight. You want to cut someone open, implant a fetus, which, mind you, can't grow because there's no placenta. It can't get any nutrients, so I guess it'll just be floating out in the ether, just doing its little thing, with its little arms, whatever, its little nails. And then you're going to cut that baby out, assuming that somehow it was fed and is still alive in 9 months' time. And what purpose does that serve when women literally do that? I am so confused by this dumb nonsense. I want to blow my brains out. I just take me into the ravine and just do it. Be done with it. I don't want to
Sydney,
live.
we don't want you to die. I want to get Drew's opinion, but real quick, the transhumanist movement, they want us to be all one sex and one race,
Yeah.
so that's why they're actually.
Well, that's why gender nullification's a thing. This is
Yeah.
a thing that make you eunuchs. Did you know this is a legitimate thing that they do? Surgeons will cut your testicles out and your penis off if you so desire and will stitch up your vagina. It's like FGM with extra steps.
Drew, you got about 30 seconds.
I just think these people hate women. They
Yeah.
hate women.
yeah,
they
they
do.
want to
Obviously,
erase
they
us.
hate men too, but it's just crazy to me that it's like women's rights, the feminists, we love women so much, so let's just take a dude and make him a woman so we could show the world what a real woman is by using a man to do it. That's like the epitome of just like
The
the
patriarchy.
opposite,
It's
of
like,
what they're
that's-
fighting against.
That is quite the patriarchy
Yeah.
when you can just literally replace women with actual men.
No more cussing, guys.
We'll be right back.
That was good.
Well, I don't think either of us, any of us, I should say, want to go to the UK and attend a concert because let's look at the list of what you have to pick from when you attend a concert there of genders. Male, don't want to say agender, androgyny, androgynous, bigender, female to male, gender fluid, gender non. I mean, this just goes on. How many choices are? Wow. I don't think that they've listed all. I don't see Two-Spirit on here.
Yeah, I didn't
Wow.
see it either.
I'm offended.
Wow.
Deeply offended.
I'm never going to the UK. I would never be caught dead in such a transphobic environment.
Wait, that's a lie because you love Ed Sheeran, and so you can't.
His name
say,
is Ed Sheeran.
Well, whatever. I don't listen to his music, and he's from the UK, so you have to go there to go to one of his hometown.
Alex.
I don't know this
Soon
pop
it'll
culture.
probably be Shireen.
Yeah, whatever.
That's coming,
Shireen,
dude. That's
Sharon,
coming.
it's same thing.
Ed Sheeran.
Where did you get that? Like,
dare
have you
you?
been saying it
I
like
don't
that
even
the
know
whole
how to say
time?
Yakubuyans. I don't know how to
true.
say names correctly,
That's true.
guys. I was dropped on my head as a baby, and I'm
Multiple
triple
times.
vaccinated.
He's
so.
Alex Stiayan now. It's good, thank
I'll
you,
take
Alex.
it. I know what you meant. That's all that counts. So
Well, now I'm thinking about Ed Sheeran, so
Yeah.
it'll all be okay.
he just had another baby. Congratulations. Ed.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know if he wants
so-
your congratulations if you can't even bloody pronounce his name correctly.
Well, it's hard. I don't read. I read at a 6th grade level. Now you have to bring this up, okay, guys?
That's probably because of the monkeypox.
the only
vaccine.
reason they let me graduate is because I was
Degenerative.
trans or gender fluid, so they gave me a degree.
Why I'm proud
Did
of
you have your
that
own
you're breastfeeding.
graduation?
What? Yeah, kinda.
You got your special one? Yeah. Okay, I want to make sure, Drew, tell everyone where they can find you. We got about 10 seconds left.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Drew H Live. Watch the show Frontlines every day on the TPUSA channel on YouTube at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. See you
Awesome.
there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see if they ever let me do my show again.
Yeah.